So the community circle approach that we use in all of our projects, not just Indigenous ones, it's really just kind of like a holistic and really a make sense approach to tackling a project. We identify all of the key players that will be involved somewhere down the line or even at the very beginning on a project as a whole. And we get them involved from the very beginning. So that can be government and health authorities, of course, the community, consultants, other industry professionals, basically anybody who gets involved. We get them there, we get them to the table, and we basically just start sharing and collaborating. A big part of this, a very important part of this, is really listening to the community. And when I say the community, I don't just mean the administration and leadership. What we really try to do is to pull in, certainly operations staff members, but also kind of community members and residents where there's interest, where that's applicable. And we really try to carve out that opportunity for everybody to come to the table, everybody to share their thoughts, and to really build the project together so that, there's no surprises, but also, we're all kind of in it and we all have a stake in it, and therefore we want it to succeed equally. Where I see this, like just coming from my background from consulting, or the benefit I see in this approach is that you're typically going to get more buy-in from your client or the end user. To me, my clients are the people who are going to drink the water at the end of the day. That's who you're doing it for. And I'm allowed to think that way, just coming from the side of things that Rezo is sitting at. The collaborative approach allows for new ideas and problem solving, which is really great. When you're in any project, you're going to encounter snags, you're going to encounter issues, things you hadn't thought of, changes of scope, all of that. But really coming together and trying to come up with the best solution for a community, customized for that community, and with community input. So where they can really feel ownership in things like the design. I think that really just kind of changes the whole nature of the project, the way things kind of roll out as you go through construction and commissioning, and everybody's willingness to kind of, stay on as a stakeholder even after, the ribbon is cut and the system is running. Because we develop such close relationships as we work through the projects, ideally in these projects, people like the operators and even the community members, well, for one, have a direct contact to people like me, but also we want them to feel comfortable to be able to call up that engineer who worked on their project from the consulting side, the manufacturing side, so that they actually have a face from the government, from Indigenous Services Canada, about who was responsible for that project, who had helped them, who they can call if they, have questions about, maintenance funding and things like that. And to me, I think it just makes our projects that much more engaging. When we talk about, doing community engagement, a lot of companies are doing this. But I really believe that has to be more than just in and out, 1 day, 1 year, talking with the community. It's about really building relationships. I think with what we're trying to do here, it's still a learning process, and we're still trying to figure out the best way to go about this. And certainly for me, especially coming from consulting, I'm always thinking how can we do this so it's just as thorough, but we're still being efficient? And that's something I'm still learning. The one thing about it, though, is that every community is so different. Every project, of course, is different, and the technical problem is always going to be different. But there's always a different set of players, a different consultant, a different person on the band council, different ideas, different needs of the community. So you can become as efficient as you want, but you really still have to be open to whatever gets thrown at you. In terms of the length and the time spent, yes, there is certainly an investment there that typically there isn't a space for in consulting or in industry as a whole. But what we're really trying to do is to kind of show the positive effect of putting in that time and showing that how, maybe putting in that time at the beginning, putting in that extra money at the beginning will contribute to the long-term sustainability of a project, which really, you could easily translate to dollars and cents. And we're trying to look at that now on a very, preliminary basis of, what are those intangibles that, we can show, and how do we get industry to kind of see the value in it? How do we get government to see the value in it so that government is willing to maybe put a little bit more investment and give a little bit more of that investment to industry so that they can really take the time to make those changes and reap the benefits of administering projects in this manner.